the After Hours podcast.
I've made notes now.
I was going to do that, but then I thought, nah, don't be a nerd.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll be enough of a nerd for all of us.
I went one that was like questions I have, and it was 2 questions.
All right, we'll start with them.
Who am I and how did I get here?
What is life?
Yeah.
I don't know if we should start with these. We'll just do it like, did you enjoy it first?
Well, I did personally. Obviously, it wasn't like, it was massively overhyped, etc. Everyone thought and was hoping for bigger things to happen and everything else.
Yeah.
But all in all, I thought it was great.
The twist was there was no twist.
Kind of.
Yeah, I've kind of got a controversial viewpoint on this, because before I watch the episode, I'm in like a film reviewing group on Facebook. It's way less profound than it sounds. It's way less profound than it sounds. It's basically me making Terminator jokes all the time. But this one guy posted a review of it, so I accidentally saw the first few words, and he was basically like, I am so pissed off, that was shit, I can't believe it. I didn't read any more. And then I saw a few other things that alluded to people's thoughts about it. So I went into it really like pessimistic, like, oh, they've jacked it, they'll absolutely this up. And I was waiting for it. I was waiting for this shit moment, and it just it never really came. And I was like, all right, that was actually pretty entertaining and fun. Why is everyone so pissed off? And it's basically because of bastards like you and me sitting here making theories about it. Because everyone got hype about Doctor Strange happening and Magneto coming in.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh my God, it's going to be something absolutely incredible. When if you actually take it at face value for what it was and what we learned about Vision and how the stone works and how it relates to the Scarlet Witch and all this, it was some pretty profound shit going on. And everyone's just miffed that Benedict Cumberbatch wasn't in it. And I'm like, calm down, guys.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I enjoyed it, long story short, to put it long-windedly like I usually do.
Like when Dottie came in, when Dottie was like, oh, can you help? I was like, here it is. This is the moment. I was just like, this is it. Then she's like, please help my kids. I was like, oh, okay. I guess
but all in all,
I was wrong.
What did you think, Ben? You enjoyed it?
Like, yeah, I felt like it was a bit, it did its job. But I feel like it was a lot crammed into one episode that they could have put.
I feel like you want to hate this.
I want to, but it's just all right.
You want to hate this.
Oy.
Sorry.
I want to hate this.
All right, I'll go through the notes, run through the episode as briefly as we can. Straight off, the first 5 minutes I thought was mental. I thought it was great. It's like, there we go. Straight in.
I'll second that.
No messing. Enjoyed the witch boots reference that was pointed out by Megan.
Nice.
That was great. One thing I've written down is the Scarlet Witch's strong head, and that must be a reference to when White Vision just goes and gives it a little squeeze.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah,
because she's not meant to be physically strong. Do you know what I mean? Like
I had a little bit of misgiving about that, because I was like, really,
Yeah,
Vision tried to squash her head, and all she got was, oh no. And then she was all right, actually.
She still did a superhero landing after Vision took White Vision out as well. I enjoyed that.
I think that's actually in her contract, that she has to do that every
Possibly.
time she goes anywhere.
And the explosive caravan when Vision threw White Vision into a caravan. That was one hell of a cool explosion, man.
What was in there?
So she throws her car into Agnes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When she fixes everything, her car's back. When she fixes everything, or when she goes back and she's just stood in the ruins of a house and it pans out, her car's to the side, and I was like, you saved your car of all of that. You got rid of your kids and Vision. And just car's all right.
No, she had to drive there in that car. That's how she got there. That's how she got to the empty, sad plot of land. So the car was the car and her were the only real things the whole time.
Yeah.
She changed how the car looked in earlier appearances. To go back to that, when she hit her with the car, I do just enjoy dumb shit like that. Because there'll be some mystical stuff going down, and Agatha was there ready to unleash a Dragon Ball Z or something, and to just slam her with a car was just brilliant.
Well, I
love it when shit like that happens.
It's like her go-to, because in Civil War, when Iron Man's sort of beating her, she just drops a load of cars on him.
Cars,
So I think she's just like, shit, where's a car? Bob that.
Yeah.
I'm good at this.
I'll sort it out.
Stick to what you know.
It works for the Hulk, so why not?
Car magic.
Throw a car.
Scarlet car magic.
Scarlet car.
Carlet. Jimmy Woo makes his comeback in this episode. Rings his boys.
I like him.
I quite enjoyed. I think another thing Megan pointed out. when he picked up the phone, there was at least 2 agents stood right behind him, just staring at him. And
I was a bit, because I thought he'd done something smarter than he actually did, because the way he was like pressing around behind him, I thought he was like speed dialing the FBI, because then they proceeded to have that conversation where he just basically made the villain exposition the shit out of his evil plans. And I was like, oh yeah, no, he's doing this for the benefit of the FBI
it'll be recorded
who are listening on the other end.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then like he gets slung in the barn. He was like, right, now I'll call the FBI. Like no one's watching him. Not a single person out of the hundreds of sword agents there is watching the that got imprisoned.
Yeah, he's only just been captured as well. It never occurred to him to maybe call the boys a little earlier, you know.
Yeah, literally just at that moment, his first time he's been around a phone. I think he was in custody before that though, wasn't he?
I don't know, he was missing for an episode. I can't remember where he was.
But yeah, the way he managed to pick up that phone was just like, there are certain things now, I hate it. I hate myself for doing it. But I see it on these shows and they do some dumb shit like that where they just pick a phone up in front of everyone. And my brain immediately just goes, it's Disney.
Yeah.
And I let them get away with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If it was like a serious action movie, I'd be like ripping my proverbial hair out.
Be furious.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, man.
Nah, I hear you.
Disney got away with it for some reason.
But yeah, Jimmy rings the boys. We cut back in and Agatha, Agnes, whatever you want to call her, reveals that Wanda's destiny is in this dodgy book, Evil Dead looking book. And her destiny is to destroy the world. And then she reveals, like, obviously what she's doing to the people of Westview. Which was a weird scene in itself, I thought. Like, we were talking earlier saying, like, if that many people were just suddenly, like, released from a spell, at least a few of them are going to scream, some of them are going to run. Do you know what I mean? But I think for the horror element of the scene, everyone just kind of did the slow walk, creepy stand around.
Didn't feel it. Didn't like it.
Wonder. Yeah, it didn't feel.
It's the main part of the film. It basically is a film cut up into episodes.
Yeah, it may as well be.
It was the main part of the narrative and the whole storytelling where I was just like, this is cheesy as like. Yeah. It was cheesier to me than any of the 50s, 60s sitcom purposely cheesy shit when they were all just walking up like the children of the corn. Like, they've just been unleashed from their anguish. They're all in a load of pain. We know that previously. Like, the little Asian dude from his office who was like, please, I need to call my wife. Where's my phone and everything? He snapped out of it this time and he was fine. Yeah. And everyone was just chilling like, oh, Wanda, you bitch, let me go. Like, deliberately walking straight up to what you understand as the most powerful being you've ever come across. Just gunning for her like, let me go, you fucking bitch. At least let my kids go.
Yeah. It was a bit, I don't know whether it was cheesy as such. It just sort of like stuck out a bit, didn't it? It didn't feel...
It was tonally wrong.
Yeah, I think they were trying to like gauge, like, you know how they've been doing with the sitcoms things. They've been like sort of copying elements and like doing homages to different styles. I think that was definitely stylistic to like certain horror films and zombies. I think it was misplaced. Like that. But yeah, I'd say that I'd agree with that, definitely.
I think it was a poorly timed reference, if that's what they were going for.
Yeah, and also obviously that all opens up with Ben getting overly excited, I'd imagine, because Dottie is the first to break.
I was like, this is it. This is the moment where her eyes go all red, and she's like, "I'm secretly Satan," and like that it did. I was like, oh, okay. She is just Dottie. They gave that character a lot of time in the other episodes for what seems like no reason.
Yeah, but maybe to throw you. Do you know what I mean?
For people like you and me, to sit here and theorise about.
We get the reveal on Quicksilver. What the f*** is that about?
I am so...
Do you know what I mean? So he's Ralph. Is that it?
Confused and torn.
So he's just some guy.
So I think it's like I said, innit? Yeah, they just used the actor from the other universe to go, look, I can do that. Hover him around in front of the camera for a bit, but he's actually just playing Ralph.
I have one issue, hopefully pointed out by my lovely girlfriend, that we don't have it confirmed. Boy, say hi. We don't have it confirmed that Agatha gave the speed powers to fake Pietro.
Yeah, I was going to talk about this, yeah.
The very interesting part for me is, you know, when he first shows up knocking on the door, Wanda's like, I swear that's not me. it cuts to the sword office and they're like, we just had a breach in a perimeter, we don't know what from.
Yeah.
And it never gets referenced again, and it's right before he shows up. And he's allegedly the owner of the house that Agatha's in.
Right.
Now, why was Jimmy Woo there in the first place? He's looking for someone he's got under FBI witness protection.
Missing person never got told, yeah.
Yeah, but the missing person was under witness protection from the FBI.
Yeah.
Under
It never got revealed, did it?
Under an assumed identity. That's what witness protection is. They give you a fake name, like Ralph Boner.
Yeah.
Point being, this guy could very well be an actual speedster at the very least, because he managed to get in, it seems, through the perimeter of the hex. So he may well still be something further. I personally think he's a character called Speed Demon, who used to go by Wizard.
Oh yeah.
Who's sort of a lesser known one from Marvel.
The Wizard. I remember him in the
another
Spider-Man
thing.
guy.
Yeah, so the Wizard goes solo basically because he was in like a crime gang, super crime gang brothers. Yeah, and the other thing, when the thing that made everybody think that fake Pietro was Mephisto was when he was like, "Unleash hell, demon spawn." If he's Speed Demon, that would carry a lot more weight.
Oh shit. Yes, John.
I actually tied that final piece together, the Speed Demon and the Unleash Hell Demon Spawn. So
you're out geeking us, Josh.
I had to look up speedster names and sort of look for things, and I saw Speed Demon. I was like, why do I feel like that fits? And I was like, because he said demon. He says it a few times.
Although
there's references to evil shit.
Although is
which led us all to Mephisto, possibly wrongly. Yeah.
Exactly, and that might be the misdirect that he's actually Speed Demon.
Because the Netflix series aren't tied into MCU, are they?
Not yet.
As in the previous ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I think they've definitely got.
Because there's the Wizards in that. Someone calls himself the Wizard in that.
What's his name? Who plays Daredevil now? Forgotten.
Oh, I can never remember.
Yeah, but that dude, he's cool. He's definitely. I think they've got him to play at least just
to play
Matt Murdock.
Daredevil.
Well, to play Matt Murdock,
Right.
so probably not in costume, but as Spider-Man's lawyer, possibly. But then again, that could be a job for She-Hulk, because she's a superhero lawyer.
Yeah.
Back into the episode as we're sort of breaking it down. I think we left off in Quicksilver's room. So Monica works it out basically and figures it out with her powers. What do we reckon her powers are?
I think she's kind of like Captain Marvel in the sense that, I mean, she's very like Captain Marvel from the comics, but in the sense that all of her powers are nondescript and usually show up right when they're needed. Do you know what I mean? Like she has lots of great powers that are quite relevant at the time that they're needed.
I think she like absorbs energy or something.
Yeah, I think in the comics it's kind of like she can absorb and then mimic powers. I think it is.
Yeah.
Something
it's a bit
like
shit
that.
She didn't do anything with it though. She just got shot and was like, oh, hey kids, and then like it just moved on.
Yeah, I think they're gearing her, this is the post-credit scene as well, they're gearing her up for a movie. They've clearly put her in to write out Brie Larson, like we said last time. Yeah. So they need to establish her own movie now, because Captain Marvel was a flop. And like, to be honest, to only have one real flop out of all of them, and it's still made over $1 billion, I think. But, you know, a critically not acclaimed one. I think they're trying to rewrite that, basically. So I think they've just put Monica Rambeau in this, so we're enough used to her that they can then spitball straight into a film without having to do much by way of, you know, introducing her character arc. Yeah, so I think that's why she was included, because she's not actually, if you actually break down her involvement with all of this, it's not really been that relevant. Like, she was there and she got booted out, and it was like,
she's there to get her powers, I think.
Yeah, I think she's pretty much, she's there for us to see this new character that can then go.
Yeah, she could have not been there and nothing would have changed.
Yeah, the overall story arc would have been identical, apart from the kids probably would have got shot at the end.
Yeah. Well, did them soldiers just like stop? So they shot her for a bit, and then I was like, did she actually beat
all
them?
the Reds, didn't she? The kid froze them all.
That was it, yeah. The kids did it.
The kid with the nondescript powers, we're not quite sure what he's capable of at the minute, but he put them all in like a Professor Xavier style freeze, and then the fast kid ran around and nicked all their guns.
If they're doing Wiccan
Yeah.
and Speed, he's basically a toned down version of his mum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say. Yeah.
He's got some magic bits.
Yeah. So we get to the bit back in the street. The Wizard of Oz film, the particular one that I've just forgotten, is actually a Sam Raimi film, the one that's showing at the cinema. Sam Raimi.
I like that.
Yeah, he's directing Doctor Strange, which this is blatantly just a big season trailer for, in some way or the other, we think. So that's a cool little thing that I noticed. So she has to pick out of like her kids or the people, basically. She realizes that, you know, we have that thing where Vision's gonna crumbling apart and screaming no and all that, and it's all very terrible. And she puts it back together. Do you know what I mean? What do we think of that?
Listen, yeah. Vision makes me cry so many times in this episode.
Oh man, did it get you?
Just the poor boy. It got me the
get you?
first time, you know, when he's first out in like episode 4 or something, and he's like, the people need help, and he's dying, and he still doesn't even care about himself.
Yeah, no, that was close there.
My heart, man. And then when he just starts falling out of the sky this time because all the walls are caving down because his wife's finally doing the right thing, but he's gonna die, and you're like, oh, it. And then everything else. Yeah, man. Trauma from Marvel once again.
Madness. What do you think, Ben? You enjoy it?
I didn't enjoy watching the kids die, if that's what you... I
like that.
I wasn't just there like, yeah, like seeing the wall come in like, woo! But like, I was like, it was interesting.
But yeah, they sort of all team up as a family. The kids put their arms up looking like they're the Avengers or something. No, in fact, that's a bit later, actually. I'm cutting ahead.
It looks like The Incredibles, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Becky showed me that.
It's quite fun, isn't it? No, but I'm skipping ahead now. I'm actually talking about when Wanda has to quickly shield her family, and that's when Agnes pretty much starts sucking as much life out of her as she can, kind of thing. I just realised my door's open and the boys haven't seen it. I'm just shouting about the last episode of WandaVision. I'm going to shut my door. That's when White Vision turns back up and they have a proper fight. Now that looks, the little library or whatever that room is, I think that's a massive visual reference to Age of Ultron. You know, the last battle kind of room in there.
It's the same shaped room.
Yeah,
it's similar camera angles as well.
It could almost be the same set that they used, you know. But I kind of like that. I enjoyed the Battle of Minds. You know, it's got to be reasonably simple for Disney, but it's still got to be Vision. I think they nailed that.
I love that he fixed it with words.
Yeah, totally.
This is the most fucking Vision way of ending that fight.
All he does is have a bit of an existential conversation, and then he's like, and then they're like, yeah, you're right, and then that's it.
Like he basically just turned round to White Vision and went, wait, White Vision, what is the sound of one hand clapping? And White Vision just had a meltdown and flew up into the sky. Like, I don't know, see you later.
Where did he go?
I mean, I've got theories about this again, but like with specific reasons why we don't see him die. Because they're pointing towards, I have to kill Vision, justifiably. I'm the Vision. I'm going to go and die now. That was what they were pointing us towards, but I think he's definitely not dead.
Yeah, nice ship reference as well. Like, you know, like if there are no original parts left, is it still the original?
Yeah, man, it was a much nicer version of the old, like, oh, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's around.
White Vision, where did he go? Quick as you can, Josh. Theory.
I think he's just on an absolute existential crisis, and he's like orbiting the world thinking. I think he might be off doing a Silver Surfer and just
kind of looks like Silver Surfer as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, just around the galaxy for a little bit, just thinking like, oh, if I'm not the original boat, then what am I?
Yeah.
So confused.
I like that. Ben, you got a theory?
I think he's gone to the museum to look at the ship of Theseus.
Yeah?
He's just gonna be there like, oh shit. Just looking at it.
It's like looking in a f***ing mirror.
Do you reckon he'll turn up in any of the films?
Yes. I have a very specific theory for why I think he'll turn up in another show or films.
Do tell.
Wanda made Vision and her kids, right? There's nothing that really states she had to be inside the hex to do that. But, you know, and also she could have just created a hex the size of a normal house and just kept her family indoors. But, you know, she's getting more powerful now. She's learning about shit. I think she's going to learn how to create Vision's ether again, or whatever you want to call it, his existence, his soul.
Put it in White Vision.
And luckily, White Vision's around with his original body, and yay, everything's the same, except dun dun dun, Wanda has created a stone. There is now another Infinity Stone in the cycle. More shit going down because they're supposed to be destroyed. If there's one coming back, what is the universe? Parallel.
And the main thing being we all get Paul Bettany back, which would be
That's
lovely.
the main hope that I have, is that we will have more of him because he's great.
I love that I request elaboration line. I request elaboration. Love that.
One bit I didn't get is one of my questions. With the Visions talking, like Vision gives White Vision the memories of who he actually is. But I wonder how he did that if he doesn't know who he is. If Vision, because I thought Vision had no idea what was happening or who he was, and I was like, how does he know?
I took that they both got those memories, so they were locked inside him. He said that you're synthetic, you are Vision.
Oh, so I can open yours.
Yeah. So you know how Vision was unlocking other people's minds?
Yeah.
He has the power to do that, given from Wanda, for whatever he is, the creation of whatever, into the Wanda thing. He then opened up, and I think they both realised. I think that whole Vision flashback of his history, that was both of them learning. I hope so anyway. That's what I took from it.
That makes more sense.
And it was locked in White Vision's mind.
He's like, I can do this. I was like, how do you know you can do that? The other day you were wondering what life is.
He said the information's being you have access to it. It's being held back from you.
Being blocked.
So I think that means it's like, I'll just crack the software kind of thing.
So basically Vision put the password into White Vision.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like guessed in.
And I
so
hope
he didn't pass him the information, he just did the 4-digit pin and got the info out of the hard drive in White Vision.
Yeah, and the regular Vision, or the Vision that Wanda created that we've been watching throughout this series, didn't have Vision memories before. He only had what Wanda had. So I believe, or I hope at least, that he learned everything in that moment, and that was why we had the change of heart from when he was first being pulled apart and screaming no, to then eventually, without any dialogue, really just accepting his fate. Do you know what I mean?
I think he learned everything about himself in the same moment White Vision did.
Yeah, and as Megan just said then, he gets to learn about exactly how much Wanda loves him and that she is good, and therefore, he understands it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so now he's not thinking like, holy shit, this person's against me, like he clearly has been doing for other episodes, It was a nice little way of writing it in.
Was, yeah. Very
interesting,
nice.
because it mirrors the sword guy as well, because him and Wanda both wanted to make their own Vision sort of thing. And then those two meet and they realise that without that they're their own thing. They break away from what they were made to be.
You've got another hero villain parallel there.
Yeah.
Once White Vision's buggered off, Monica's power again, she absorbs some bullets, fine. Wiccan or Billy, Tommy, whichever one, manages to stop one. They do their thing. Darcy makes an interesting final appearance in her 1950s looking truck thing and manages to wreck
can take on a military
armored vehicle.
When she just wrecks into it.
An armored vehicle, a tank looking, van thing.
Listen, all that was a Humvee, and those old school vans were made of steel, so I believe it, to be honest. I believe it. I don't. It wasn't.
And it was trapped in a wall, in fairness.
Tank. Exactly, it pinned it against the wall. It didn't run it over like a tank. So I'll give it that. I enjoyed it. I was really glad when it was her.
Oh yeah, totally. Don't get me wrong.
I'm
just
glad Darcy got a
nitpicking.
kill.
You've got it.
Darcy's probably my favourite character from the show.
She's great.
Despite not having much involvement with anything, she's just fun.
The next part is when we suddenly get, it looks a bit, there's a lot of Age of Ultron flashbacks there, because when Wanda sneaks up behind her and puts her in a little sort of
I thought that was
creepy
cool.
dream. They do the stop motion
she
thing
does
again.
that, when she pops up, ooh, I was nice.
If you look at a very, very first appearance in Age of Ultron when she sneaks up on Cap and Tony, it's very, she backs away like 3 doors. It's very stop motion. I've heard people equate it to super speed, like Quicksilver, but it's not. It's horror film stop motion, jagged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Jump cuts.
And that was cool. So she takes her back to, however she does it with her weird Wanda magic, puts her in a dream state and takes her back to the witch trials, which is cool. but then, you know, raises a load of zombie witches. We all like zombie witches. Brilliant. Awesome. But then she manages to flip the script on Wanda, which is interesting.
Which is interesting.
Yeah. You like it? Yeah, at this point, right, from here on out, if I'm going to nitpick it, it gets a bit like back and forth for relatively no reason. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing because, like, all right, she suddenly switched it, but then Wanda, okay, she knocks her out of the trance and they end up fighting again. You know, it's cool, but then the reveal of the runes, all right, that's fine, but everything Wanda's been saying is she doesn't realise she's a witch, which means, again, I can't stop, which means she must have put them up since, what, the last episode? And I don't think she's been on her own the last episode.
No. Well, the runes on the hex walls.
Yeah, the big massive
She
ones.
did them while she was fighting Agatha.
Did she?
Yeah, as they're going around in the air, she's like firing the blasts past her.
She keeps deliberately missing them. I noticed. They were all going beyond it and they were cutting runes into the hex walls. So she literally just did them in that moment, and that's why Agatha suddenly couldn't use the power anymore.
So Agatha, basically, start to finish, has up by
because she's told too much.
By talking too much. Yeah, exactly. It's
the
mental. Like
always do.
It almost looks like
weird that she could still fly.
Yeah, had she not told Wanda that how powerful she was, she wouldn't have, you know, realised and switched, and maybe she could have just sucked up her power.
It's a classic tale of her own hubris being what brings her down. You know, she thinks she can get the okay because she knows she's the Scarlet Witch. She knows it's chaos magic. She's like, oh yeah, give me the magic because I know what I'm doing it because you'll end the fucking world. But she thinks she's superior, whereas, you know, as we already know about Wanda, she learns very quickly and all this shit. So she wins, and also she's the main character, so she has to.
I thought one of them looked like that tree of Idrisil, or whatever the it's called. You know, the 9 realms tree thing that they talk about.
I think
and
everything that Asgard and shit have done, I think, is going to tie into this ancient magic, and I think what she called now the Tilda Swinton character in New York,
the ancient one.
I think they're all going to actually turn out to be pulling from the same source almost. Yeah. And that's going to explain most powers. I'm kind of worried about how they're going to do it, because making everything in Marvel just, it's magic like witches, it's like, not sure about that.
It's always been like drawing from other dimensions, which just fits so nicely into her being an
I mean, you could just make it fit anything, can't you? But yeah, this horror thing they're leaning towards, though, I've got bad thoughts about, because initially I was really excited and they had that director on for Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah. I
don't think it was James Wan, but it was someone of that ilk, like a proper horror movie director.
Same guy did the first one, wasn't it?
No, they got an actual... It might be, I don't know, I can't remember.
I think he is a horror director.
He's a renowned horror movie
director. I'm pretty sure he did the first one as well.
And he wanted to take it in a proper horror direction, like a full-blown, and, you know, it was being pre-marketed as, like, Marvel's first horror film. Yeah. And then some shit happened behind the scenes, and he got replaced, and Disney released a statement saying, we're actually going in quite a different direction now, we're not doing that. And I think they're going for Disney horror, which I think is going to be f***ing lame.
Could be, yeah.
There was some bits of Agatha where I was going, oh, this is pure Disney horror. This is like something if there was a scary witch on iCarly or some shit.
Yeah.
Or Hannah Montana, like I feel like it'd be this. You know, hovering in the mist that's covering her up to the knees for no fucking reason.
If that's what you thought about Wandavision, then maybe it's a good thing that Mephisto didn't turn up, because he'd be Disney Mephisto, and then...
That's what I mean. Yeah. That's what I mean, because like the closest they've come to like horrible, proper evil for me is, what's he called? Giant sword man who destroys Asgard. He was fucking cool, man. Yeah, he was
great.
they gave him like a human personality and like a bit of a sense of humor, but in terms of like the fear element and actually looking like a demon, that was pretty shit up for me. And now it's looking more like they're Disneyfying it more, and I'm like, it felt kind of weird to me, especially like I know they're inside the hex and all the rest of it, but the sky was dead blue and dead nice, while this all-powerful witch is in the sky with ropes around these kids' throats, who in no way looked like they were in any actual danger at all, because these ropes weren't even really around them properly.
Yeah, it was like in a loop.
It was,
so
it was so Disney.
Backwards.
It was like, just move backwards.
Walk
One of
backwards.
you is a speedster, just run quickly back and you'll be fine. You're not even
Like,
tied up.
by Disney's
Yeah.
standards, like I'm strangling myself with these headphones right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's kind of how it felt. It all felt very whitewashed and dumbed down for a younger audience, which I suppose it is. But we've also seen 2 children almost die from an unexploded bomb in this same show.
Yeah. One thing I've written down here says new outfit, boom.
Ah, it's so good.
Gangster
what I mean?
costume.
Sheesh.
Like,
Yeah,
instantly Becky said that's my favourite costume in the whole universe now. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's definitely
it is.
close.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It's.
I think Captain America's is my actual favourite for practical look.
Yeah.
And like tangibility is looking real, but her costume's badass as shit. Like,
Yeah.
to
It's
make
almost-
that cheesy as hell headdress thing that they've
In
got her
it.
wearing in the comics look pretty badass. Like, they
Yeah,
pulled
I
that
think-
off.
I think I actually said something pretty similar at the time. Yeah. She seems
And
a
I
lot.
like the notion that that's all she ever wears now as well, because when she leaves and she's wearing like a hoodie and she's being all emo, and then she flies off into the sky. Like, as she jumps into the sky, she
Switches back.
changes costume back to, and I just love the idea that she's constantly wearing that insane leather dress everywhere she goes and just changes it to look like whatever she wants at the time.
Yeah. She's embracing it, and she
To
seems
raise some
hotter.
hygiene issues.
She seems like, I mean, she's never been, not pretty, but my God, she seems a lot hotter. Like
I think
the
that's
whole
confidence.
Dark
that's
Force seems to agree
Yeah.
with her. You know what I mean? Jesus. So yeah, she traps Agnes. What's that about? Because the hex is gone. Does she trap her in? Is it her own thing? Just is it in her mind? Is she just going to be sat there, unaware of who she actually is as a nosy
Yeah, that's what
neighbour?
I got, because the town's going to go back to normal now, but they've got this new nosy neighbour who's in town, this Agatha, so I think it's going to be, and she is just going to have to play it out. But I did quite like the touch of her crying, like her eyes full of tears when she was like, all right, see you later, alligator, and all that creepy shit she does.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was
I
a bit
like
like,
that
because
touch.
that shows she's still in there. But then when the runes went, because she got rid of the hex gun, wouldn't she be all right to use her magic?
I think she might have just put her head in a hex.
I don't think she knows she can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's.
So I think she's like, it's like Black Mirror. She's like trapped behind her eyeballs looking out, or in Us when you're just a passenger looking out of the eyes, but you can't do anything, and they need to do the incantations with their hands to do shit, don't they?
Yeah, I kind of like, I wanted, like, I assumed I'd see, in the Jimmy Woo scene at least, the first after credit scene, mid credit scene or whatever, I assumed they'd lock her up or something. But it seems like
It's been left. Everything's been left purposely very open, I think.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said in the last one of these, they're leaving it as this being its own self-contained thing.
Yeah.
As much as they can. So I don't think they want to
Wanda,
burn or create too many bridges than they can handle, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, the mind state that we see Wanda in at the very, very end scene that we'll talk about now is like, or in a minute, is like, she could have been straight after Endgame. So, do you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to watch WandaVision. I get that. She could have just made that transformation off screen. Fuck knows, they did it with the Hulk. You know what I mean? They merged him together completely off screen. It's not a problem. So in that sense, yeah, it kind of can be standalone and sit in a bubble. But yeah, that happens. It's all very sad. They go home. We kind of talked about the sadness of that. I think that was, yeah, pretty well done.
It was
in
painful.
fairness.
It's so emotionally, like, just on point and perfect.
Yeah, man.
The way they covered it, it was really, really good. Really impressive. Like, the potential for it to be cheesy was...
On paper, the script might have been, if you read it. Do you know what I mean? But I think, like, those two and the journey that it had before it, they delivered it really, really well. I wasn't so sure about the explanation of Vision, like, what am I? And she just said, like, you're the piece of the Mind Stone that lives inside me. Like, that's...
It's setting
I
shit
want
up
more
for
of that.
It feeds into my theory, though. That's what I mean. Because she created the Mind Stone. He fired lasers out of that thing. Like, that was the legit real Mind Stone that she made. Because she made this part of it. And that just gives more cadence to my theory of putting good Vision into white Vision, making real Vision again, and she can just conjure up a stone, and then that suddenly hang on a minute, the Infinity Stones are destroyed, but one of them's back. Oh no, the whole world sparked off into multiple dimensions.
That's quite a big thing, isn't it? Like to say that she can create Infinity Stones when she was like sort of
because
not
she's
created
like a
from
Nexus
one.
being and everything, isn't she? She's
I see. So because she can exist in different universes, she can then create stones.
So
in
I
different universes.
think she's got the potential for that kind of power, and it's thus far only been released due to extreme emotion. But she's learning now, as we saw in the final post-credit scene.
Yeah.
That shot was cool as as well. Like the allegory with her, like basically sitting on a farm in the middle of nowhere, very similar to Thanos. The cabin looked similar to Thanos' cabin.
Very much Infinity War.
And she was sat on the thing, and then inside there's an astral projection of her just studying magic, and she's got her hands in that crazy Buddha position. It was a really cool shot, really sinister.
Looked like a dark Doctor Strange.
Yeah, and then she can hear the kids screaming, and it's like, right, well, where are they? And if she's studying all this magic and she's reaching across possibly other dimensions.
Just quickly before we go to the actual end credit scene, we'll do the mid one. It closes all sad. Monica's all nice, blah, 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 blah. Mid-credit scene is the scroll reveal and the Monica Rambeau setup, basically. So that sounds like people... Do you think that was the scroll? I think I might have said it last episode that one of the women might have been the scroll that she knew as a kid, who'd grown up sort of with her. I'm leaning against that now because she didn't say, "Hey, remember me" or anything like that.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't one we've seen before.
Yeah.
I didn't like the scroll unveiling purely because I think she looked a bit shit. Like she literally looked like they'd got a lady and shaved her head and painted her green. Like,
I kind of like the way the scrolls look.
There wasn't. No, I like the way the scrolls look, but I think that particular makeup it left me a bit like, you've not really tried hard there with that.
Yeah.
I just thought it looked a bit. There was no texture to it or anything, which I feel like the other scroll had a lot more of.
Yeah.
I know. Becky is dying to share this theory with this particular part. She's been itching the whole time. She showed it me on a text base while we were talking before. So the scroll comes in and is like, oh, we want to go and meet whoever it is up there. Mm-hmm. Do you know what like the theory surrounding that is?
Oh, I assume it's Nick Fury.
Is it Fury?
Yeah, I hadn't made that connection at all. And when Becky showed me before, I was like, of course, yeah, because he knows all the scroll, and they're off on the actual headquarters of SWORD up on the space base. This is Nick Fury there in charge.
Yeah. It's
Could
interesting.
He be making
like,
a second space-based Avengers team?
Well, this is it. Like everyone said in the post-credit of Spider-Man, where we saw Fury on that ship, that that's going to be SWORD, but no one confirmed it. Now we've seen SWORD, and SWORD's director was an arsehole who we all thought might be someone, but isn't anyone really. So it's looking more and more like they're not doing that. Like that SWORD is possibly the grounded thing, and SHIELD might be reaching out, or there might be a new thing. I don't know. Or it might be so secret that the director of SWORD himself doesn't know about it. But either way, it looks like it's going to be Fury, and she'll be heading up there. And that'll probably set up Captain Marvel too, I'd imagine. But yeah, end credit scene. The opening of that, when it looks like sort of Canada or some kind of middle of nowhere place. I thought that was going to be a Wolverine reveal. I didn't think but I hoped
my heart went there. My heart went there so quick.
Did it? I'm glad it wasn't just me.
Wolverine. Yeah, no, straight. Yeah. As soon as it was just a cabin in the middle of nowhere, for some reason, I had the same instinct, and my heart went,
I did.
Logan? Do you know what's really weird is I'm aching for it. Like, I need to see and know who it's going to be, but I'm so scared.
Yeah. I don't think they'll do it for a long time.
I don't, but I'm so scared when it happens. I'm like, how do you best Hugh Jackman's Wolverine? Yeah. But yeah, no, I was instantly, I don't know why we both thought that. I hope other people did as well.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to see Evan Peters in the MCU as Ralph or Quicksilver in the future, or do you think that's it? Do you think they're done with the teasing?
I hope. Because he's not a nobody actor. Do you know what I mean? And that's a very small role for somebody of his success. So for him to take that, he could have done it for the memes. Like, actors do that shit now, but because of the whole FBI missing person witness protection thing, I don't think Ralph Boner is his real name at all.
Yeah.
So therefore, what is it? Do you know what I mean? I don't know enough about Quicksilver in comic canon to know, like, because there was 2 versions, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like 2 different origins. So are they both called Pietro? Are they both?
Well, are we talking about in the films or in
the actual
comics?
I'm sure
To
there's
be honest, as far as comics go, I dip out a bit with the X-Men. Like, I'm not too up there.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Wanda or, you know, any of their origins. Like, I only knew after several Avengers films that she's actually Magneto's daughter in the comics and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't. But I'm. If there is another Quicksilver, I have no idea, and there's going to be nerds listening to this raging now. But it could potentially be that, or it could be he's from another dimension. He's not Ralph Boner, but he's also not Pietro, but he is Quicksilver.
And you've also got your theory you said before.
And he's come through. That's the thing. If it wasn't for the fact that, you know, the perimeter has been breached and we don't know what it was, and then he's shown up and it's that speed demon. So I want it to be that. I want him to still be in it because I enjoy the shit out of him. And I really enjoy the fact that he's in a lot of things now that aren't, what's it called, American Horror Story, where he got his first success, because that's a fucking terrible series and I can't stand watching it, but he's really, really good.
Okay.
I always enjoy his performances, so I hope he's in it purely because he's good, but also because I want it to be something bigger.
Well, it could be he's in witness protection because he's Magneto's kid, and they were both split up, and then
potentially
Scarlet Witch went to this other family as adopted, and then because of her Mind Stone powers, it sort of leaked into Pietro and gave him Quicksilver powers, like, because she somehow somewhere knows her brother has that power or something.
Yeah, she's got the unconscious ability to transfer it.
And there's a real Quicksilver that's not Pietro. There's a different witness protection.
I feel like it's pointing at Agnes has to have given him the Quicksilver power, but it's just how. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it wasn't, you know, because there was that necklace around his neck and he was all cocky, and then she noticed it was glowing Agatha purple and pulled it off, and then he was like, please don't kill me. And it's like, all right, did you just lose your powers when you did that, or did you lose her control? Like, what just happened? Do you know what I mean? Because a second before that, he did that flick and just knocked her over. You know,
I think there's enough.
She feels like he would have to know how to do that.
Yeah, there's enough unfinished there that I think they'll hopefully go back to it. Do you know what I mean?
They better had to. Like, I don't know what the plan is with these shows, because Wandavision can't have that many series.
No, that's it. I don't think there'll be another
they're
one.
not planning another one.
I mean, obviously they'll follow it up in film and stuff.
It did seem to set up a lot for Strange, sort of the Thanos fam looking scene. What's the 2 Wanders about? That kind of confused us initially, didn't it? Like,
so Wanda on the step is real, and she's astral projecting a form of herself.
Right.
Like
how did I forget about astral projection?
Exactly.
Yeah,
so it's more stuff leaning towards like, oh look, Strange and Wanda are actually very similar, because now she's doing this thing that previously was Strange's thing. Magic. So yeah, and she's going to come back way more powerful than Strange as well. That's established in the lore.
Yeah.
I didn't initially get it. I thought the real one was projecting like a magic hologram of herself on the front of the lawn to look normal for passers-by, but it's like there's no one there, so why would you do that? But no, she's just enjoying a brew while part of her brain is in the back there floating and learning. It would be pretty mint. That it'd be an amazing thing to have. One thing I can't ever be asked doing is learning, because it's arduous and difficult, but if you could just get part of you to read a textbook and you wouldn't even consciously register it, but then you knew the information, it'd be awesome. That's a better superpower than lifting things up. I changed my mind from the last episode.
I've got super learning.
Super
potential for learning.
It's like super
That's what Marvel's
ADHD,
done to you. It's turning into such a geek that you want to learn, man. Put the weights down, pick up a book. So it's looking like she's with dark magic. Do we reckon Mephisto's involved with the kids screaming for money
I
at the end?
don't think Mephisto's involved yet.
Might need
what do you reckon that's about?
They need a big bad.
Yeah.
It might be the bad guy for the Doctor Strange film, maybe. Maybe not the big bad.
So we're talking Nightmare or obviously Mephisto.
Possibly.
I don't think anything's being set up yet. I think the kids screaming and stuff and shouting for the mom, I think that's somewhere deep in the depths of her psyche where they came from, and that's where they've gone back to. And that's what she's learning about, is how to get to that part of the brain. It would be a very similar thing for her to be reaching into her mind for where these kids are, rather than they're in another dimension or a demon's got them. I don't think they've actually set up anything to do with, like, it could at this point still never involve Mephisto and it wouldn't change a thing. They haven't actually done anything to make us think he's in it. It's just people theorizing. So there's potential that there's something completely unrelated about to happen. I mean, you know, Mephisto is such a Scarlet Witch villain that he probably is in it further down the line, but I don't think they've actually built to it now. I don't. It's think
also when she says, she also says, like, "Thank you for choosing me to be your mom." I was like, that's a bit of a weird line.
It is, isn't it?
I think I thought that, but it sounds like the kind of cheesy shit that American moms say to the kids, like, because they're all like about the angels came down and brought you to me, and you chose me and your dad from heaven, and like, so I think it might.
And it could be a line from something as well, since they've been copying
from
stuff and homages. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right, Doctor Strange theories. So it's looking like we're all thinking that it could be Wanda that's the big bad in Doctor Strange instead of a big villain.
I think Wanda's going to represent the threat. I don't think she's necessarily going to be the big bad. I still think she'll be an Avengers asset and a good character, but I think she's probably going to go through some growing pains and puberty issues with this learning magic and be a bit of a diss.
It's like the Agnes one when she's getting caught at the same trial. She says, like, I can be good. And like that, and like that's like mirroring Wanda. It's like Wanda can be good. Will she be? Well, this is Agnes wasn't. Like,
what I think they're going to do with
Wanda has the power.
What I think they're going to do with it in the movies is possibly what they did in Phase 1 with Loki, which is like he's kind of like the good villain that they have to practice on, but he's being controlled by the big bad that eventually turns out to be Thanos, and this time could eventually turn out to be, I don't know, Mephisto,
so maybe that's
Nightmare, or any of the others. So that could be how they do it. So she could be the villain, but also there's talk that Keanu Reeves has got a job there. So they've been after him
he's
for
supposed
time.
to be part of Eternals, I think.
Is it? I've heard that he's supposed to be a villain.
Yeah, I don't think he's one of the Eternals. I think he's part of the Eternals project.
Okay.
I don't know. It's got Angelina Jolie attached, doesn't it?
I think
as himself, one of the Eternals is Keanu Reeves.
He's just there, just stroking dogs and giving lollipops to old ladies.
Definitely. So who is it now? It's Raimi, isn't it? Sam Raimi doing Doctor Strange. So it's going to be weird. It's going to be
That'd
like
be cool. I think that's going to be so good.
That's what I mean. If they're going to go horror,
he's perfect
and you don't
for
want, and you're worried about the Disney horror, think about Sam Raimi. He can go slapstick horror, but within the realms of Disney, it might work. It could be.
That's what I mean. I mean, can we get? What is it going on with my brain? What's the film? The Sam Raimi film, Evil Dead. Can we get Evil Dead type feeling into it? Will it work?
I feel like they were going that way in
WandaVision
in places, like, you know, with the resurrection of the witches and that. I was like, ooh,
I think I kind of felt like they were getting used to that kind of thing.
I feel like they might have got Sam in for that, you know, and been like, well, how do we do this? You know, like, how's best to make these look cool? You know, that kind of thing.
I suppose, because like if you want it to be truly weird, you get Guillermo del Toro in, don't you? But if you want it to be kooky weird and fun weird, then Sam Raimi's your guy.
On a budget.
It's still creepy enough.
But this is it. And then you've got like the fact that it's a Strange film, so it's going to be multiverse. Like, we've seen the visual effects department, you know, these days. They can do whatever the they want with regards to Doctor Strange. They can make those mental comics from the 70s or wherever they were from look, you know, just mind-blowing. The first film is, you know, up there with, it's probably got the best visual effects in the MCU, the first Doctor Strange film. So combine that with the madness of what we've just seen and Sam Raimi and possibly a Bruce Campbell appearance. I mean, he's bound to show up at some point, and it's a Raimi film.
Has to.
Yeah. What's next up? It's Falcon Winter Soldier, isn't it?
Yes.
Are we going to do it on that?
Yeah.
Are we going to do this on that?
I think we should, because I have a lot of presumptions about what that show's going to be. All
right, well, we've got 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. Let's go. Quick theories.
I think my theory is that it's going to be a shit bro cop film type thing. Right. But I also think that my theory is that's what they want me to make my theory because it's wrong. Like, I feel like everything they've done is geared towards making it like, yeah, it's Turner and Hooch, but this time both of them are people.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably going to have a lot more depth to it, judging by what we've just seen here. I think every one of these TV shows is giving us enough information for the next stage of films. So I don't think any of it's irrelevant, and I don't think any of it's just for fun.
Yeah.
I don't like Anthony Mackie at all.
No, I
I'm not
can't
looking
stand him.
forward to watching the show. I don't think he's very good. But I'm definitely going to watch the show because I know the show's going to be good. I just won't like him.
Yeah.
I want Bucky to be passing Falcon at one point and just say, on your right, on the way.
Nice.
That'd be a nice touch.
The other way around.
That's Ben's entire prediction for the show.
That's all I want. The whole thing.
I think you might get that as well. I think you might get that.
Like on your right, and he'll be like, F off. Like,
bearing in mind this one was meant to come out before Wandavision as well, so I don't think it's going to touch on it.
It's not going to carry any story on, but it's going to give us all new.
It will in the MCU.
It's doing Zemo, isn't it? It's going to be sorting Zemo out.
Yeah, it's not going to carry anything on from WandaVision. I mean, there's going to be nothing that crosses over. So
I want to know why they work together, because there's not really any point.
They can't stand each other either.
Together. Yeah. That's what I mean. It's like,
that's the whole point. They don't like each other.
Yeah.
Oh, and shenanigans will ensue. So we'll see. Yeah. I really like what's his face. He plays the Winter Soldier. So
he's pretty cool.
He's all right.
I'll enjoy watching him. Maybe Anthony Mackie will turn it around, but almost every single thing I've seen of him, I just dislike him.
All right, well, 2 weeks I think it drops. We'll talk about it then. This is literally going to time out any second, so nice one for doing this, lads.
Peace out, boys.
Everyone say bye.
No worries.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, ones. Big ones. Bye.
Wandavision.
We
got one more in. We got one
This is the theme tune. It's the theme tune of the show. After Hours Marvel Podcast.
I feel like it wasn't less than a minute.
This is going on for a long time now. We're still
I'm
going.
just going to stop it.
The After Hours Podcast.
There's no reason for Vision to be crying. You know, when he's upset. Like, if you think about it, Ultron did not build tear ducts into that robot. But when he was doing it, I was like, my heart, my soul. You know what I mean? He's just tearing up about his kids about to die as they're going to bed and shit. And I was watching it, and I wanted to be that arsehole sitting there going, yeah, right, robots don't even cry, you dickhead. But I was so like, because Paul Bettany, he can do anything.
Yeah. Even make robots cry.
The man can do no wrong.